Florida school eliminates anti-LGBTQ plus bullying measures because of Don't Say Gay law. Queer News Tonight recently reported on the Duval County School Board decision to amend their LGBTQ plus services policies to be compliant with the Parental Rights and Education Bill, probably best known as Don't Say Gay. As part of the movement towards compliance, the school board also removed an anti-bullying video from the county website. Goodness. Duval Schools District spokesperson Tracy Pierce confirmed that the video had, quote, been removed for legal review to ensure the content complies with recent state legislation, end quote. The new law requires that any content involving sexual orientation or gender identity not be discussed with children in grade 3 or earlier, and that discussions related to those topics in later grades must be, quote, age appropriate or developmentally appropriate, end quote. The vague aspect, to say the least, the vague aspect of the law has caused a frenzy of school boards attempting to define their resources in a way that prevents lawsuits from parents. What a mess. What a mess.
My heart breaks for those kids.
Yeah.
You know, bullying has always been a thing, right? But with these new laws and the Don't Say Gay, it's like putting an even bigger target on LGBTQ plus kids.
Sure.
That's the dangerous and vague part about it, because you don't know where it stops. Now in Orlando, they're telling teachers you can't have a picture on your desk of your same-sex spouse. When I was on the commission, I created our anti-bullying task force, and we worked with the kids in the schools. And they are the ones that actually created legislation that we incorporated into city laws. And from what I read online, it's the kids that helped create that anti-bullying
Wow.
video.
I believe that.
It was appropriate for them, and now because
in
of
their
Don't Say Gay,
speech.
they're afraid.
Right? I had read that they had even used like their own speech. So it was kind of like their terminology and them understanding each other. And how do you take something like that down? I mean,
I don't like that we're calling the law vague. It's not vague. It's very specific. It says, yes, bully your classmates. It says, yes, bully each other. It's state-endorsed bullying, and that is loud and clear to me.
I think that's true, but it is vague in its specifications. So like I mean, that's part of it's the fear that's the most dangerous part of this, that it's actually not really clear what can and cannot be done. And because of that ambiguity, people are really scared about how they're going to navigate life as a teacher, as a student, as a our GSA is going to remain open. I mean, you're right. Like in some ways, we're kind of feeding into it by calling it vague, because no doubt it's homophobic. It's not indistinctly unhomophobic, right? It's definitely homophobic. But it's hard to know what's going to be policed and what's going to be regulated.
It's also going to create a differentiation. In South Florida, where we have, let's face it, more Democrats, they're going to look to implement it less severely. But what you're going to see in the northern part of the state is removal of videos.
Right.
You can't have a picture. You can't bring your spouse to a school event. I mean, who knows how far they're going to take it.
Right.
Yeah.
And I mean, even when you look at the state of Florida and across the country, there is a massive shortage of teachers.
Yeah.
And, having worked in the education system before, there's a large amount of LGBTQ plus teachers in our public school setting. So I would actually love to see them all walk out one day.
wow.
And see what would actually happen, because they can't hold class if the teacher's not in the classroom.
Yeah.
So what is all these states and politicians going to do if there's no teachers? They can't hire more. No one's applying to be teachers anymore. I mean, you know this from teaching in higher education, but it'll be very interesting to see what would happen. So there's more teachers. They just need to walk out and take a stand.
I did a story on my show, on the Fay What Show, and there was a teacher of the year who actually was like, you know what? I'm not doing this shit.
Wow.
Yeah.
I quit. So you lost a teacher of substance,
Right.
a teacher that was able to guide these students, and make their lives better. And now future students won't have her.
Yeah.
It's happening at the local, because I know we often think of ourselves, like in South Florida, as kind of sometimes being immune to some of the more, egregious parts of these things. But in the front page of the Sun Sentinel the other day, that we found out the Stonewall National Museum and Archives, our local LGBTQ archive, received a whole shipment of books that have been essentially, in anticipation of the passing of what's going to happen with Don't Say Gay, of all these children's books that have like 2 gay dads or whatever. I mean, like just like 10 boxes or something. I mean, like it's out of fear of what might happen, not necessarily what is going to. Like it's unclear what this is going to look like. But I think that's just, fear is really manipulative, right? Like, I mean, you don't know, so you take out that photo of you and your partner on your shelf or whatever, right? Or you don't have the the gay flag or whatever.
Look, again, I go back to those kids. My heart breaks because I mean, we'll know from the Trevor Project next year, but that suicides will be up. Okay, that's it.
We have to fight it too. There's legal challenges to the law, so let's hope that one of them prevails and we see a change.
Yeah.
LGBTQ plus news is vital for our community and for the broader world as a whole. We have enough enemies at Fox News. Tucker, Sean, and Laura are loud. We need passionate allies. Happening Out Television Network, Queer News Tonight, and It's Happening Out are literally out of the closet and into the headlines. Our community needs your support. Like this broadcast and subscribe now to ensure the growth of the entire LGBTQ plus community.